This is the new Maverick Vinales. Here's Valentino Rossi. Vinales said in the build-up to this crucial two-day test here in Valencia, he was not going to touch that motorcycle. There's not interested in playing Valencia.
So Rossi's about to head out on circuit. We've got another few riders that have ventured out as well that will be posting time shortly. Andrea Iannone's already put in his first lap time on an Aprilia. So Valentino will head out there on last year's bike as well, just to get himself all warmed up. Vinales goes across the line.
It's Kurt here, but Pecco Bagnaia looks anything but a rookie on that motorcycle.
Scary, isn't it? It's really scary at how comfortable he looks. He's only a couple of tenths shy of the man who's just delayed. The clock was ticking, but nobody went out. It was damp on circuit. So it's been a while, but hopefully everyone is out. And look at this, here they are then. Number 93, the 7-time world champion. Number 46, the 9-time world champion. Two men that were battling away in Sepang a couple of weeks ago. At the moment here in Valencia, with plenty of time left, as you can see with the clock at the top left. It's a factory Ducati 1-2 with Andrea Dovizioso and Danilo Petrucci. Third place at the moment for the Petronas Yamaha SRT of Franco Morbidelli. Jack Miller's popped out, but hasn't. Yeah, he's set one time, he's 7th, but he's come straight back in again. And Marc Marquez there. How fit is he after 2 big crashes over the weekend in Valencia? Rare mistake in a race for the world champion. The first time he's actually crashed out of a race, got no points, and it's not through. Well, we say it's. So another run completed from Jorge Lorenzo then. The best he managed was a 32.5. This is Valentino Rossi, who just put in his fastest lap of the day. It's still not a time that can beat the 31.8 that he posted yesterday. But in comparison, be interesting to see what Jorge makes of that, because it's far more nimble looking.
So Marc Marquez then on that last lap did put in his best of the day so far, a 1:31.911. So he's wasted little time in finding good speed and good rhythm on the first version of the 2019 Honda. Then he's still got what they think will be a better version coming up to try later on today. This is the bike he's already ridden. They've already got good information on this one, and of course Takao Yokoyama and all the engineers from HRC, they would have processed that information, they've digested it, and then based on what Marc Marquez's direction was, what he wanted, what his requests were, well then they've rolled out this, shall we say, second version that hopefully we'll get a glimpse of later on today.
We'll just remind people that we're not anywhere near best laps or records here at Valencia. Obviously we are in late November now. It is very cool, and the circuit only dried a few hours ago. The circuit record, it does belong to Jorge Lorenzo. The best ever lap we saw here was his pole lap of 2016 at 1:29.4, so you can see that we're nowhere near that at the moment.
So he's done laps on the 2018 Honda, he's done laps on the 2019 V1 Honda version 1. There you go, confirmation then on your screens that he's been out there on that 2019 Honda RC213V, the first version, which he has already tested before. And again, he's immediately surrounded by an army of Honda technicians. You can see there Kakubu-san just behind Alberto Puig. So influential in HRC's technical development throughout the years. He's been such a key cog of the HRC engineering department, both in Moto3 and in MotoGP for quite a few years now. Rossi back out there, top 6 at the moment then for the number 46. Taka Nakagami's just putting a decent lap time. He's got to the fringes of the top 10 in 11th place, so 1:33.134. Lorenzo, sure, I could just see there a bit of a glinting sort of paddle, little lever for him to use that thumb rear brake.
This is the first version then of the 2019 Honda RC213V, and it seems to be a bit of a weapon.
You're right about the thumb brake. mat. All of the factory Hondas have that on there. Just to let you know, Jorge has been out so far on the Honda that has the normal Honda fuel tank on it. But even that they've got like a little extra piece that sticks on with what do you call it, clear tape, and it holds it in place right between your legs to make the tank a little bit longer. They've been playing with that already, and on the other bike is the one I was telling you about. He hasn't ridden it yet, but it has a fuel tank that is kind of modelled on what looks like the Ducati fuel tank that he settled on.
Yeah, thanks for that, Simon. Interesting observation. Of course, Lorenzo, before those new ergonomic parts came for him in Mugello, his problem was, because the Ducati was such a physical bike to ride, and you need so much upper body strength, he was just getting fatigued in races. Jorge Lorenzo, one of the fittest riders out there in the World Championship. These guys are finely tuned athletes, and they could probably be Olympic triathletes if they put their mind to it. But Lorenzo, with the brutal braking forces going through his upper body and his arms, he just tired. Remember in Le Mans he led, didn't he, for so long, and then just dropped back through the field like a stone. And the very next race, out came the ergonomic upgrades, and he was lethal, he was unbeatable. He went from fading like a cheap pair of curtains in Le Mans to being a dominant race winner in Mugello just by a few parts that probably cost the county a couple of €100.
Honda will be keen not to make the same mistake. They'll have seen that with their own eyes. They'd have probably been chuckling at the situation, but they'll make sure, Matt, one of the first things they do is let's get him comfortable on this Honda.
I do just wonder why as well, Steve. I mean, like, Jorge Lorenzo knows exactly what he wants to go fast on a motorcycle. He would have not just started asking Ducati for those parts around Le Mans. You just wonder, what I wanted earlier, well, this story may well not have been ending at the end of 2018. You just wonder why, when it was something so basic. It wasn't like he was saying, well, I can't ride this chassis, build me a complete brand new chassis.
And any information back?
Yeah, so this is right. We have a test program, so it's a new compound for the rear. We have one soft compound, one hard compound to test for next season. Unfortunately, the weather condition yesterday, today is not the best one. So this morning we didn't run because it was damp. Yesterday also we had just one test with the Brattle. He did yesterday. We did the new soft compound, and he said it was quite good. But again, conditions are not the optimum. So now we are waiting at the end of the day when the track maybe there is more temperature and more rubber on. We will go ahead and try to test this compound. And the goal is to have more grip, give more grip and better consistency, better durability. So we will see at the end of today if we can get more information.
And the program from here for your development tyres, like for example Jerez, Sepang, you have different tyres to test for the upcoming season?
Yes, for the winter test we have a test program. It's all based in compound. For the front, for example, we will work in Jerez, in Sepang. Front is a compound that is in between the medium and the hard range, because we realize in some race that some rider they can use the medium. Then when the medium is too soft, they are not able to go on the hard because it's too hard. So we try to find something in the middle, in between the medium and clear the tire specification. So the only time to develop to test will be the Sepang, Qatar and Jerez. Will be just about the compound, as I said, because the profile and the casing for the front and for the rear will be the same for next season. So,
with the front tyre, what would you've said about the rear? You'd want a little bit more grip and durability, which is that's a tough call, I can imagine. With the front, what are you trying to find there? You said about compound in between, but what are is there other things you're trying to improve with the front tyre?
No, it's just to give them something in between, because as I explained, some riders they are not very aggressive on the front, they are not able to use the hard, so we try just to make one medium plus or hard minus, if you want, something in between. Of course we want to keep the same feeling, same grip as the front tire.
during the season I heard quite a few people talking about how some of the manufacturers could only run the soft tyre, and they couldn't heat the harder tyre, you know, get temperature into